black. I thought it was strange. I moved my face closer to the bowl. So many flies flew up. Then finally I could see white rice. We had malaria and fever, but we could not rest. If we would take a rest, we would have been called a traitor. So no one took rests. Gradually, we became weaker and weaker. There was no one left in the end. If there were normal conditions, if I were not tired, I could have seen the enemy quicker. There is no question about that. But if one were tired, he loses his concentration, and he momentarily loses his guard. A lot of experienced pilots died in that way.
The Zero that I encountered had to be disoriented. He might have had trouble. I got onto his tail, and he kept wagging his wings. My first inclination was, that he's a fellow in trouble. And my second thought was, well, it's a trick. And I shot anyway. And he simply began to smoke, rolled over in a slow dive, and he crashed near the airstrip.
In the beginning, the Japanese pilots were called messengers from hell, but we began to be called paper tigers. The morale of younger pilots began to decrease.
By February 1943, the starving remnants of the Japanese army are driven from Guadalcanal. New air bases are hacked out of the New Guinea jungles, and the air war continues with undiminished fury. The South Pacific is reinforced with a fresh crop of pilots.
Earlier on in the war, we'd go strike someplace for 2-3 days and then come on back and rest up for 3-4 weeks and then hit again. You'd rest a lot in between times, catch up on your sleep, play a lot of acey-deucey, sleep a little more, hang around the ready rooms.
From the stories I heard from the American prisoners of war, that is, their pilots who were at the front for a certain amount of time were given a vacation in an area called New Georgia or something like that. I was envious to hear that. In Rabaul, a pilot was ordered to fight until he died.
The Japanese are now facing almost every warplane in the American arsenal. George Chandler was among those combat pilots flying air patrol against the Japanese bomber strikes on Bougainville.
The Marine fighters and our Army P-40 fighters were all waiting for them. And here were the bombers coming in more or less unescorted without the Zeros, because we were out there nagging at them. The P-40s and the Marine fighters just tore them all to pieces, the bombers.
American pilots continue to rack up impressive numbers of kills. The F-4U Corsair and the twin-engined Lockheed P-38 Lightning are both capable of speeds in excess of 400 miles an hour and prove to be more than a match for the Zero.
After the Americans attacked once, they sped away. We chased them, but we couldn't get any closer. We were too slow. Their engines were bigger than ours. They simply outperformed us. At this point, looking back, I think that the American strategy was very practical and efficient. But during the war, I really thought that the Americans were sly. Their way of fighting was not fair, I felt. When we look back after chasing one plane, another plane was already in our tail, shooting at us. Their teamwork was very good.
I respected the Japanese pilots. If you didn't give them any respect, then you're going to get your butt shot off. They were some marvelous flyers. Sometimes they didn't seem to have a teamwork concept that we had to have.
The American strategy of hit and run, a sharp eye, and sheer nerve proved deadly.
You don't dare go past an enemy fighter, or you are instantly the target instead of the hunter. You're the hunted. If he's behind you, you're in trouble.
As that plane got closer and closer from behind, I realized there was no escape.
And I let fly, and I could see the canopy just go all to pieces.
Oh, no. This way, that way. There was no escape. So I started blasting my machine guns, and I felt a jolt as bullets blew the glass canopy away.
And when that canopy goes all to pieces, so does that guy's head inside.
The bullet came from here, through here. Those wounds are here and here. Then I lost consciousness, and my plane was spinning out of control.
By summer 1943, Japanese naval and air power have been dealt decisive blows, defeats from which they will never recover. America is now firmly on the offensive, and though 2 years of bloody fighting still lay ahead, there is renewed confidence in victory.